Fab. Fab's come from Worthing today, and Fab wants to talk to us about Total. And yesterday, Saturday, what happened with Total yesterday?
Well, early last week they announced a big, I think it's about £14 million worth of investment in fracking companies, and they're the first forecourt name in Britain to put their name to fracking. And there's obviously a big public awareness of growing public awareness that fracking is dangerous, causes damage to the environment. So we wanted to give people the choice to not support a company which is supporting fracking. So we went out and let them know that Total's trying to frack our countryside, and people were quite pleased to get that information, and a number of them chose to drive straight through. Even the ones that were filling up there, they were listening to what we were saying and giving us a nod when we suggested that they go buy their petrol from elsewhere. And so if anybody's out buying petrol, if they see a Total garage and they're thinking about stopping for petrol, if they can go somewhere else to get their petrol, that would be great, because if people can send a message, it's only 3 days, and there's already a number of cases where people's letting the public know that Total want to come over here and frack our countryside. They can't frack in France, so they're coming here, and if people know that just by driving somewhere else, that they can let Total know that their investment in fracking is going to cost them much more at the pumps. And then maybe every other name, every other oil company who's thinking about buying Celtic or iGas or Cuadrilla or any of the other companies that put this filth in the ground and expect to get away with it, then they might think twice, because as soon as they put their name to fracking, people will drive past their petrol
and hit their profits
and hit them in the pound sheet. Yeah,
that's where the hit them is profit margins. Yeah.
Well, it started out when some companies like Poundland were doing workfare. First week there was 5 or 10 shops around the country, and then after 3 or 4 weeks there was 50, 60 shops around the country. That affects their bottom line, and the government changed its policy. They're still trying to bring it back under the back door, but it goes to show that hitting them on the forecourts, in the tills, is effective. And as long as people know that Total are here with the intention of fracking our countryside, leaving a great mess, then you can say, no, we don't want you to come and frack our countryside, and just go anywhere else.
Well, what do you think about the claims that David Cameron made last week? This will create 70,000 jobs. I mean, you got any ideas what those jobs might even be?
Well, I had a good look into that, and there may be, being even-handed, there may be a few jobs, a few hundred, maybe a few thousand, involving trucks. And whether those are actually positive jobs in terms of it'd be nicer to have more train drivers or build more train tracks, or a few greener power. Other jobs will mostly be specialised drilling jobs, which will be for people generally who've been trained in it, usually people who function and work internationally. So a number of people who would possibly be out in the Middle East working and being employed out there may come here and dig filthy great big holes in our ground.
And of course, these are not necessarily British people either, are they? Americans?
No. Well, most of the skill set will be from American and Australian fracking drillers who've been out there and got the experience. So there may well be 2, 3, 4, 5,000 jobs there, of which 10 or 20 may go to British people, and definitely not the people who really need the jobs, which are the people, on the streets, the people who are out there, who are desperate for any kind of work.
And the young, especially the young.
Especially the young. I mean, if I'm not seeing engineering courses to train young people on how to be geologists, so they actually get the skill to try and use these pieces of equipment without damaging things, because actually it's not a precise science. And talking to some of these guys, when they're drilling down, they're trying to get a feel for it, and if they get it wrong, they bust their drill head, down goes another 10,000 gallons of acid, and it's not a precise science. We're not training people for it. There's going to be no jobs for
the youth, the next generation.
For the youth, there's going to be no jobs for people who like some training, whereas there could be jobs if we look to greener alternatives.
Don't you think? I think this is my own personal way of thinking. Is if we train these youths into building green energy, forms of energy, i.e. Wind turbines, tide turbines. I mean, do you think that would be a better use of government funding?
Not just that, but in terms of design innovations, there's nowhere for young people who have really good ideas, who know how to use technology and integrate it to come up with energy-saving ideas. There's a young guy, I think 17 years old, who's designed like a sea hoover, a machine that removes trash from the sea. What a brilliant idea, but you know, a lot of that innovation is just not going to come through because there's no support for the young people today.
No.
And you know, every pound we invest in a young person's future today is probably many pounds we're going to have to spend correcting, you know, all the things that have gone wrong in the meantime. You know, and you know, this is a great thing about coming out to Total Garage, is people see us do it, they see us having fun, and they come out and they join us.
And this happened all across the country yesterday, didn't it?
And more people will come because, as you said, apathy is no longer an option.
Absolutely.
It's time for people to come out, join the fun, join the party, get your voice heard, empower yourself to make a change. And that's what's happening right here, right today, your local Total Garage. Go up to Barton Moss and get the word out, because just like with this fracking, the more you find out about it, the less you like it.
Brilliant, lovely. Fab, thanks a lot, my friend.
Pleasure.
Okay, that's Kenny Lloyd from True Threat Films News Network, coming from the Cuadrilla site itself.